ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another movie review. This week, we are reviewing the Jujutsu Kaisen movie Zero. I guess that's what it's called, or Volume Zero movie, or JJK, the movie, Volume Zero. My name is Lyndon Burton, as always, and this week, I'm joined, I was going to say by my normal host, but that's not the case, but now he's normal, in part of the network now, host of, and I can say the name actually, the Manga Melee Podcast that's coming very, very soon. You guys will probably see it next week. The Manga Melee Podcast, my man Jay. You can follow him on Twitter at ShardBase. Jay, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty well, honestly. I'm super excited to review this. I thought this movie was super dope. And thanks for having me.
Oh, brother, this is something that's going to happen now a lot more, as you know, because your podcast, people have heard us interview you for your podcast. They saw the trailer, but this is our first real review we're doing together. So I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
So without further ado, let's get into it. What's your initial thoughts on this movie?
Honestly, whenever Mugen Train came out and we first got started moving into the canon anime movies when it came to Nujin Shonen, I thought to myself immediately, Jujutsu Kaisen Zero is the perfect thing to be given a movie. Like it's the perfect length, I feel. Some people say it could have been maybe 20 minutes longer for some character development stuff.
I'd have liked that. I'm not upset at that.
I wouldn't have been upset about that either, but I think it was fine the way it was.
I agree.
They added a few things as it was anyway.
I think that the time length thing is more for the Japanese audiences, because if you look, a lot of Japanese movies do not get to 3 hours. Rarely.
Yeah.
That's an American trope that us Americans are like, yeah, give me 4 hours of JJK. But that's,
unless it's high cinema, sort of art house stuff. But
and it's got to be
you can't count that in this service.
And I know this is not Japanese, but even Parasite was just barely 2 hours. It was. I don't think that movie was 2 hours and 30. I really don't.
Yeah, it was tight.
Yeah, and you look at Your Name, the Miyazaki films, they keep that shit under 2 hours, and I ain't mad at it.
I'm cool with it. Yeah, respect my time. Thank you. And
go ahead. Yeah. Keep going if you got any more initial thoughts.
And Yuta, just was super excited to see him animated because he does some really dope stuff in the manga.
They even added some stuff that we'll talk about, which blew my fucking mind. We'll talk about character stuff when we get to the spoiler side. This is just for people who saw the movie, but I'm gonna be honest, if you don't read the manga, it's going to be hard to watch this review. We will try to keep it spoiler-free in the beginning, and we'll give you our manga spoiler-free review. But after that, we're going to be spoiling. So for me, my initial thoughts is great movie. Really, really enjoyed it. I think there was no weak points in the movie, and we're going to do a video that's going to be out tomorrow where me and Chris are comparing this movie to the other anime movies. But for example, when you look at one of the My Hero movies, Hero Rising, the first one, or I think that might be Two Heroes, whichever the one that he goes to America with the class and they meet All Might's former sidekick, that movie does some other stuff where it's you don't really care about the side characters. You don't really care about the other stuff. It's really they do them such a shitty job. And then when you get to Deku and All Might, it's perfect. But let's get away from that because that's not canon. Let's use something that's canon. The Mugen Train movie, to me, worked better in the season because they were able to flesh out the Zenitsu story, the Inosuke story. We got a little bit more, and I think it lacked where in the movie, if you don't have that Akaza fight, that movie's kind of mid. But this movie, I think, is gas all the way throughout.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any slow points in this movie. How do you feel about that?
I think that because I actually talked about this with a friend of the pod, Peter, on the What Do You Say Anime podcast. And he thought that the beginning was a bit slow. And I don't necessarily disagree as far as action goes, but I think in terms of characterization and stuff, that's what really keeps the first half of the movie going.
I agree. Because it's you have to
getting to meet the class, getting to meet Gojo, understanding Yuta and Rika's relationship and what caused him to have these issues.
Which I thought was beautiful, by the way. When they connected in at the end, that was awesome. And to your point about that, it's okay, so for some people who don't watch this movie, they're not telling Nobara, Megami, Yuji story, so you have to really focus in on developing the relationship of Yuta to the other people in his class and with Gojo, because these aren't people that we know. Like, we know the side characters, but for the most part, for us to really like this movie, you have to like Yuta. And I think they did a good job in the beginning of executing who he is, why he does what he does. And by the end, when you get that scene where Gojo explains, hey, bro, you accomplished your goal, it's beautiful because they flash back to the beginning. It's like, you know what he went through to get here.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I really, really liked about this movie. Now, real quick, because I think this is a conversation that needs to be had. I've had this conversation with Chris. So I want to get your thoughts on it. How do you feel on canon movies versus non-canon movies? Because I think this movie is a success. And I think it's a success due to the fact that it's a canon movie. But on the flip, I do think some non-canon movies will succeed. For in the example of One Piece working, I would love I think Black Clover is going to be at its best when it's non-canon movies, so we can get other stories with that group. And I also think My Hero can give us some sort of canon side stories.
I think it really depends on what exactly you mean by canon.
Okay.
My camera a little bit here. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good.
Because, for instance, a pitch idea I've always had for an anime movie that could come out would be like a Tokyo Revengers movie. And I wouldn't want any particular arc of it animated, but I would want a side story. Yeah. I would want it to be a prequel story about Mikey's brother Shinichiro and what he was doing with his gang.
Now that would be gas.
And that wouldn't be seen as canon for a lot of people because it's not shown in the manga.
But it should be canon.
I would prefer for the mangaka to still be like, well, this is still, I was involved with this. Mm-hmm. This is a story that's part of the canon. Like the
Ace novel, sort of. Yes, so the Ace manga.
Exactly. I don't think that canon should be 100% restricted to a manga.
I agree.
To the original manga, as long as the source material is respected, and in most cases,
the creator
okays it as well. Sometimes the creators can be a little bit, so I'm iffy on that. But just respect the source material. That's all I ask. Like,
and I think My Hero is going to be the prime example of starting what you're discussing, because after it ends, I don't think Shonen Jump thought it would end this early. And I don't think fans started with in this early. So Horikoshi is going to be like, I'm working on something new, but you can give other creators the ability to like make side stories. They already said they're making 10 movies. Well, if you're going to make 10 movies, you've already made like 3 and it's about to end. So that tells me the other ones coming will be side stories of different characters. Like, I would love, we talked about this off air, an All Might prequel where we see what All Might was doing in his younger days fighting in America. I think an Aizawa manga, an Aizawa story, Eraserhead, would be great. I think getting Vigilantes would be great. So that form of canon, I do believe, is coming. The other form is telling a movie that's an arc in the story. And sometimes that works, like in this situation in Mugen Train, but we can see where it doesn't, because Mugen Train was good, but when you look at the season, it worked a little bit better in the season. And like I said, you take that Akaza fight out, it's kind of mid. So it's like, I would love canon stories, but I think it would take the right kind to make it work, i.e. how JJK just did this.
See, yeah, I think that the landscape is changing towards things in general, not even just the anime community or the anime industry being mixed medium and stuff like that. So I don't know, like, look at something like JoJo's, where they have side stories that are written by completely different authors, but Araki is like, yo, this is dope. So it's canon now. Like, we had a whole side story for a character in part 5 that leaves at one point. Somebody basically wrote fan fiction about it, more or less, and Araki read it and was like, this is good enough to be canon. This is canon now.
Yeah.
Like, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see that story animated at some point and put into like the true canon, as people would say it, or something like that. So,
and like that Ace manga could become a movie in itself.
Exactly. So I think that people are very caught up on like what this being manga only canon and stuff like that is the thing.
Now, how do you feel about non-canon stories? Not to cut you off, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Non-canon stories are like, they're fine. It's hard to care about in an overarching story, whatever. It's like none of this really matters. Like,
and see, the thing with that is, I think if you do it more like how One Piece did it and less how Bleach and Naruto did it, it can work. And that's what I want to see from Black Clover, where it's like you can put like sprinkles of little dashes of canon in there, but it's side stories that we could never get in the manga because we're going a certain place. I just think the Bleach and Naruto movies made it feel like this really doesn't matter at all. Whereas with the One Piece, you get a little bit of sprinkle, but it's a great story nonetheless.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And honestly, I think that when it comes to like, I guess I'd rather just do like guidance stories, like, you know, like different characters getting a chance to shine in a movie. But with the way that the industry is, it's just like popular characters need to be in every single story or else people won't buy it. So
like Oda rewrit One Piece because Law was so popular. Well, let me not say rewrit, but like gave Law more of story when it was supposed to be kid at first because he was so popular. And to that point, I think with the way that media is changing, the streaming wars and everything that's going on, I'm pretty sure Japan's going to catch on soon enough where it's going to be, all right, these side characters, they're canon, not canon. Who cares? You're getting a side character story. You want Law on what he was doing before he met up with Luffy. You're gonna get that. You want the Tokyo Revengers, Mikey Brother prequel. You're gonna get that. Like I think that's coming. I think we're like maybe 5 years away from it. And just the way that Japanese media moves, you know.
For sure.
So with that being said, let's jump into the movie itself and we'll talk about the best scenes. So what are some of your favorite scenes from the movie, Jay?
So to start from the beginning, I really thought that the opening itself was very well done. Like the coloring on it, the sound design, just the only thing that surprised me was those guys aren't dead somehow. The guys who got stuffed into a locker.
Fuck those dudes, bro. Like, I was just like, come on, man. Y'all bullying my man Yuta like that. That's why Rika got y'all ass.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the hell?
And I love the scene of Gojo and Yuta in the I guess the chamber at Jujutsu High.
It's like a holding room, I guess. Yeah. It's the same place that Yuji was at in the first scene. Exactly.
And I think that the way that they parallel Yuji and Yuta really work in this movie.
Yeah, I was like kind of giving. So I went with my girlfriend and another couple, and one of the people in that couple is a manga reader, but not all the way, and the other one is not a manga reader. So I was kind of explaining in the car ride there. I was like, Yuta influences a lot of how Gojo treats the rest of his students and his psychology towards Yuji, especially because
he was kind of like the guinea pig.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that just watching Gojo's character in this scene, it really shows a lot about who he is and how much he loves his students, especially, and how much he cares about just like the youth in general and how they should be allowed to live their lives.
Facts. No, I agree 100%. And that was like a major overarching narrative. And I love the way between you see, like you just said, of Gojo's way of you should be free. You should live your life the right way as long as you're following the rules. You can't help the fact that you have certain curses. You're not born with that. But if you can control it, you can use that power for good. Whereas Geto on the flip is like, yeah, fuck those humans. Like, we have powers. You can't control that you're born with it. You're strong. Why should we acquiesce to the weak? And I thought it was a great balance of who's who. And you see that even more so in the scene where those two girls are trapped and Geto saves them.
I'm really shocked I haven't seen like the Magneto comparisons on my timeline.
That's a good call. That's
to be completely honest with you.
Hey, whereas Gojo's a wicked, twisted Xavier, even though Xavier in himself is wicked and twisted in his
I would say right. Gojo is a better person than
Professor Xavier. Yeah,
honestly, like when you think about the Illuminati shit and whatnot, I think Gojo would not like Professor Xavier at all, actually.
No, and Geto is a great comparison to Magneto. I never thought about that, but that's a good call because he wants the betterment for his people, and it's like fuck humans for trying to put us in this shitty situation.
Yeah, and not to spoil anything for non-manga readers, but we see a lot of his character arc, like how he got, like we see people explain how he got to where he's at and why he couldn't be happy in this world, as he stated. And honestly, it's not really like it's not something you can super blame him for in some ways. I feel like
100%. Yeah, no, yeah. And see, that's something that we'll talk about. We'll finish going through our best scenes, and then after that, we'll go into spoiler territory. I think the next scene for me is in the beginning where we see Yuta walk into the class and we see Rika, and they look and they're like, what the hell? And Maki throws that spear, and I was like, oh yes, that's my queen.
Dude, the bass whenever he like just stepped into the room was so good.
In the theater,
yeah, I thought that was done super well too. Honestly, the color palette in this movie was off the chain. Like they did a fantastic job with it.
I agree. What's another scene you got? Because we're just going in order of
another scene that I got, I would definitely say that I enjoyed the training exercise that they did a lot afterwards too. Like Maki is my favorite girl in Jujutsu Kaisen.
Same.
Like, full disclosure.
And I know we did that video, our Discord discussion. We're gonna have to do another one soon on JJK because the rankings got updated for me. And at first I had Nobara above Maki, but like now I can't do that. Like Maki's just incredible from all forms of media we got from the manga chapters after we did that review. And now to this movie, it's just like everything about her is badass. And I love how this movie lays the seeds of how shitty the Zenin clan is.
Me too. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I didn't think they would go into that.
Yeah. Speaking of scenes I didn't think they would go into, another scene that I really enjoyed, this is a little bit further on, but I enjoyed the them explaining Gojo and Geto's backstory a bit. I was kind of surprised they included it though.
I was too.
You're a manga reader as well, so what did you think of them including what is slight spoilers here, but it's like the emotional climax of an arc that's coming up?
Yeah, look, I liked it because to me this is okay. If you're not a manga reader, cool. That if you're just anime only, then this makes sense. You're explaining who these guys are. They have a relationship. Now you're more curious. So when the arc happens, it's like, okay, this is from the movie. And it goes back to what we're talking about in the beginning of making these movies matter. But for a manga reader, I thought it was dope because it's like, we're seeing something that we already know. And it explains like why Gojo in this moment is so fucking upset. Like, oh, you suck, Geto. You really suck. Like y'all have a relation. Like this is
hate
terrible.
That you're making me do this shit.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
and it made the movie better for me, honestly.
Literally, like just a toxic relationship. Like,
100%. I think the next. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say the next scene for me is when Yuta and Maki go inside of that school or whatever. And they're going to kill the curse and they get eaten. And we see Maki in there and she's taking damage. And Yuta's like, what? And it's like, oh, okay, we know what this is. And I just thought it was a great way when he cared. It reminded me very much so of one Izuku Midoriya when he's walking out of there with everybody on his back.
That was a Deku scene, honestly.
I loved it.
I can agree. Yeah, that was Yuta's like literal first steps towards becoming the hero in this movie, and I appreciate that scene a lot too. And just also seeing Rika get unleashed like that was fucking sick,
badass, bro. Rika,
especially the curse being like, who are you? Like, bro.
And she's like, who are you peasant? I love how like, and this is kind of fucked up, but I love it nonetheless, of how super strong, high up their ranking curses really just look at all these other curses as piss ants and they treat them as such. Like, I wonder, do you think that will come into play in the story of like demons ever getting treated nicer for the prosperity of peace? I don't think Gojo's going in that Naruto direction, that Naruto Black Clover direction in that form.
Honestly, I don't really know. I think there's a few possibilities that have been presented in the manga, but I kind of like, I understand what you're saying, and
because they do treat them like second-class citizens, and that's something I feel like could be explored, but I think it's very tricky.
Yeah, and like there have been some curses that have kind of questioned the manga, like why are you allowed to exterminate us like this? And so I think they will go into the psychology of that some more, especially because like when it comes down to it, you basically do have like child soldiers doing this sort of thing too.
Yeah, no, facts, 100%. And that's something even more seen in this. The next scene I think I would have would be, let's see, let me make sure I'm not missing nothing because I'm going through the manga and like seeing panels and stuff. I think the next scene for me would be after we see that Rika come out and they save everybody and Gojo takes him. I think it would be the next mission of him going with my cursed speech user homie. I always forget his with Inumaki. That was such a badass scene, and it made me like Inumaki more.
Before we get into the scene, let me ask: do you prefer the season 1 Inumaki design or the movie Inumaki design?
Ooh. I think
basically it's just like the hair.
Yeah, I think the movie where it's spikier down.
He looks kind of like Jogo from Naruto with the hair. Honestly,
he does.
I think it looks sick. Yeah, he looks great either way. Honestly, top tier design, but that shit's good. I agree.
Yeah, the movie I just think was a little bit better, and maybe that's why I was more like just vibing with his character a little bit more. I don't know. It was just something about him, and now that you point that out, I definitely like this design a lot more.
Yeah. I think we'll probably just keep the seasonal design, sadly.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm here for it.
Yep. But I do think the next scene I got, unless I think this comes before. So let me say this one where he gets the katana and Gojo explains like what you need to do with the powers. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, putting the curse into the katana and like unraveling the knots of curse one by one until you can release her.
And I thought this movie explained the powers very well. For like, let's say you were confused season 1 or manga. This movie blatantly comes out and like clears all confusion up.
Agreed. It gets the fundamentals anyway. It doesn't really get into the nitty gritty of
about like domains and whatnot, but it explains what you need to know.
100%. And it tells you what you need to know exactly. It doesn't. Nobody's gonna use a freaking domain in this anyway, so who cares? Like
exactly. And I think they explained Gojo's powers really well.
Yeah.
Which even though we didn't get an infinite void,
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Did they explain Gojo's powers?
Really they did, because they were going from they explained not necessarily the eyes, but just what he can do with his red orb and his blue orb, and how like those things affect one another, and like what the purple is. I thought they did a decent of explaining why he's so strong. They didn't go into the eyes or the domain, but they
or his
Infinity Void. I thought they
no, they did go into Limitless. I meant they didn't go into his since you can't touch him.
See, okay, wait, they didn't talk about that, did they? No, you can't touch him. Okay. See, I thought they did, but you're right. I think that was a TikTok video I watched after. But
I mean, they do show it more or less.
But they didn't explain that.
Nobody ever straight up says it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah. You're 100% right about that. So I think the next scene we should talk about
Infinity. That's what it's called. My bad.
Is the Inumaki scene where it's like, okay, Gojo, you're going with Yuta, you're going with him, y'all going alone. And I thought they handled that beautifully. And I
loved that scene's coloring too, man. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no, go ahead.
Like the green and just like the lighting from the dirty like glass overhead. Like I thought it was really like, even in just terms of like cinematography, super well done in that scene.
And I thought though, just the way you see Inumaki's powers from the explode to the twist to the go down the like that was dope. Like I thought that was really cool. And then seeing the ugly curse really fuck with them, and seeing Yuta grow a little bit more, not necessarily being super offensive, but being able to take care of them in the beginning. And then he realizes, wait, Inumaki's a good guy. He likes me. Like our relationship is good. I've been judging him, misinterpreting who he is. That's fucked up on my part. He saved me. Now I'm going to really go all out for this dude. And then we see him go all out and it's like, yo, bad fucking ass.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this scene? But like, besides the
man.
cinematography part,
like, yeah, it was sick. I liked seeing the fish swarm of cursed spirits was really dope, and especially seeing them explode, like you said. I thought they did that really well. The sound design on Inumaki's cursed speech ability was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Overall, this scene was just really, really good.
It's easily one of the best in the movie.
Yeah. Definitely it's like the best part of the first half, I would say overall.
It is. It edges out that Maki stuff just by a little bit, just because the way that Yuta starts using his katana and distracting this curse long enough to throw the medicine to Inumaki. And when he drinks it, I was like, oh shit, it's going down.
Yep.
That was
100%.
Super, super badass. And like I said, at the end of it, where they become friends, I thought that was earned. It wasn't something that was just like, oh yeah, they're friends now.
Yeah, seeing them do the high five was like, hell yeah, dude. Like,
and that's something that JJK and Gege specifically does really well. All of the relationships are very strong relationships, and they feel super authentic. If you're friends, you're really friends. But on the flip, if you hate someone, that's super authentic as well.
Yeah, this was almost a mirror of the Toto and Yuji fight from season 1, honestly, with how in tune they were with each other.
Yep, I agree. And then seeing Geto with the just creeping around, and Gojo's like, how did this veil get put on? I was just like,
smell that stank. I recognize that stank anywhere.
That was badass. And then seeing Geto destroy all those fucking rich people, I was just like, that's what y'all get for fucking with curses.
Yep. 100%.
And then seeing his crew, I was like, yes, we got a brother. We got these girls, all these people badass, and I gotta applaud Gege for just how he draws African Americans. He respects them and doesn't give them the
giant lips.
The Toriyama Mr. Popo treatment.
I 100% agree. Yeah,
like he does it like Bleach, and I think that's where you see the inspiration of Bleach and how he draws his characters.
He can draw more than one hairstyle
and one face,
and it's great.
Yeah, facts, 100%. And then that's where we see the principal, and then Geto just drops down like a fucking baller, like, yeah, we declaring war. I thought that was a badass scene.
He put his nuts on the table. Like, honestly.
That was, and the principal was like, what was his line that he kept using that was in English? Because everybody in my I don't know if you saw it sub, but everybody in my theater, every time he said it was it was like damn or something.
It was like, God damn it.
Yeah, that was it.
Or like, oh god damn. Or something like
it reminded me of Joseph Joestar.
No, 150% he was hitting that Joseph Joestar there. Like,
oh my god.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the principal was super badass.
That shit was great.
I love the declaration of war. The so fast when Geto drops down on Yuta reminded me of like Aizen on Ichigo, and when Aizen's.
It was heavy Aizen vibes for sure.
But then I love that Geto couldn't do nothing because he knows that like Gojo's right there, bro. You're not about to do shit. And Gojo basically kind of says that.
Yeah, I can vaporize you with a blink.
And I love how Yuta, he's conflicted because he's hearing Geto's story, this sweet story, and it's like, damn, this sounds good, but at the end of it, you want to kill my friends. Fuck that. Like, I don't care how good your pitch sounds. I can sense the lying in you.
Yeah, it's really his lot, like him shit talking on Maki that sets you off when he calls her like the failure of the Zenin clan and a monkey and whatnot. Which, if you're a manga reader, it's funny to think about him saying that after supreme and
then it's crazy because you're right, he kept calling them monkeys, and I was like, well, he's not calling black people monkeys, he's calling just humans monkeys. I was like,
I definitely saw people being like, he said monkey one too many times.
It was like, well, he got a brother on his squad, he not calling him a monkey, so I'm
exactly.
Cool with it.
Yeah, if Miguel gave him the pass, then he's fine. I feel like
100%. And then he just leaves out of here, and then we get a beautiful scene with Yuta and Maki where they discuss like why what did he mean by that, and I think that was a lot of good character growth between the two of them.
Yeah, I like that scene a lot too. just like Maki explaining her lack of cursed energy and whatnot. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was better. I thought it was explained better than they explained it in the season.
Yeah,
honestly.
I agree. I think that's because they were able to, now that the season happened, for those that know Maki, I think this was like, here, since you watch season 1, here's a little bit more that you don't know.
Yeah, and also the thing about it is like it's able to focus more on the fact that Maki has no curse energy because of the fact that Yuji isn't there, because Yuji also has
no curse energy.
I mean,
he has
low, very little, but yeah.
So it heightens her for sure. And then seeing Geto's masterful plan where he separated them, and now it's gonna be Maki versus Maki and Yuta versus Geto, and then all the other people versus the Jujutsu society. So okay, so let's split this in two when discussing it. Let's talk about everybody else versus Jujutsu sorcerers, and then we'll go to the Geto versus Maki, Panda, Inumaki, and Yuta, and eventually Gojo Scene. So on the other side, bro, when I saw Hanami come out I was like, that's my ex-salary man. That's my fucking Nanami.
Hanami is the fucking
is the curse.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, what?
My bad. Nanami.
No worries. I just wanted for the listeners.
Yeah, when Nanami came out, I was like, that's my fucking goat.
You get to see him do the world record Black Flash.
And I was just like, fuck yeah, because we haven't seen him in a while.
Super dope.
Yeah,
I love that.
Well, and then I love seeing literally when Toto came on the screen, the whole theater screamed "Besto friendo."
Love that.
And that girl next to me was like, look at these nerds. I was like, poor Jason. If you know what I'm talking about. Well, fuck it. I'll tell the story right now because it's the review. I'm sitting in the movie. I'm sitting down, because I didn't get popcorn or anything because it was only an hour and 45 and I was literally going to eat dinner after I left. And this was more of a business thing. Got to get this done. Got to review with Jay. Got to talk Krissa. I'm enjoying it. But I read the manga and I love Jujutsu Kaisen. But this wasn't like the Batman where I'm making sure I'm getting there, where we're sitting. Notes. Yeah. Facts. This is something that I already knew. So I'm just there on business, watching it, ready to enjoy it. This guy comes and his girlfriend, and they're already I don't want to say bickering, but you can tell a conversation was taking place.
Are off.
Yeah, so they sit down and they're not saying nothing, and then the movie starts and it's subtitled, and she literally, as soon as the first subtitle hit, she turns to him and says, "I know you don't have me watching this nerd shit, and now I gotta read it." She was like, "Jason, come on, bro. What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Oh, poor Jason." He was like, "Look, baby, it's better this way." He was giving all kind of excuses. Like, I watched the rom-com with you the other week. There's just doing the whole boy. And I just felt so bad for him. She was like, "I am never coming watch another one of these nerd shit movies again. You tricked me." And I was like, wow, this white girl going off.
Jason, if you were listening to this, that is a red flag, man. You're women will tell you how hard it is to get a man to share his interest and stuff. You're being open with your interest and your emotions and stuff to this woman, and she is just
shitting on
all over you for it.
Look, I can say this.
Her, Jason. You are a king.
Yeah, facts.
You deserve better.
My girlfriend does not like anime, but she does not shit on any of my likes.
Yeah, that's the minimum. Yeah, that's honestly the minimum right there. At least be not be respectful. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
She loves the fact that I'm a nerd. She's like, my man is out here playing D&D. He is not out here with these hoes. I would much rather. And the good thing is I can watch superhero movies with my girlfriend, all the superhero movies, because she loves that. But in terms of anime, I respect her boundaries, just like she knows I'm not trying to watch no rom-coms, but I'm not going to shit on her rom-coms, just like she's not going to shit on my anime. I think that was just
other people's taste. That's all it is at the end of the day.
Facts. Yep.
And we could all stand to do that on the internet nowadays. Probably.
No, true. Also love seeing Mai and the bow and arrow guy, like I said, Toto's team doing their thing. Yes, that was badass. What was the scene from the Jujutsu side that you like? Oh, the dude in the trench coat. I can't forget his name, but with the sword.
Kusakabe, yeah.
Bro, when they showed him, I was like, y'all going there? Okay, I know no one knows who this is, but I know who this is.
Bro, that guy has one of the hardest covers, too.
Yes, he does. One of the best. I know you got it right there. Yep, it is literally one of the best.
It is one of the hardest cover.
It's like this
sword like that. Oh my god!
And you can see his eyes, and it's so badass.
He doesn't deserve it, but it's hard.
What any other scenes from those people that you like?
I enjoyed that a lot.
I saved your man for you.
I loved Toto's little intro speech where he's like, "Man, I have got to get out of here soon and go see Takada-chan on the Christmas Eve special." Like
that was badass.
Honestly,
that was so Toto.
They got the humor in this movie pretty well. They didn't try to.
It wasn't forced.
In the beginning, they kind of like whenever Gojo pulled the "oops, I forgot to tell you" like 3 times in a row. That was a little bit like it's in character, but it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think they got the humor like really well. Gege is one of the better mangaka.
Yes, he is.
Not trying to force like dumb jokes and stuff like that, I feel.
What did you think of your boy favorite character? See him in the background, Gojo's fight scene with Miguel.
Oh, I loved it, man. Honestly, just seeing him beat the brakes off of Miguel, like with the boxing and shit, it was like, damn.
Yeah. And it was like, damn, Gojo got taijutsu too? Like,
yeah, I literally thought, man, he showed more taijutsu in that one
then he did in the chapter
clip. Well, in that 1 30-second clip, then like almost all of Naruto does in its entire series, actually.
It was like he was on his Rock Lee shit hard.
No hate on Naruto. That's one of my old school favorites.
Yeah, no, we love Naruto, but like that was just, it just shows the growth of how this choreography. It shows the growth
of shonen for sure. Exactly.
Like at the time, Naruto was the best taijutsu choreography that we had. Even some would say better than Dragon Ball at certain instances, but we've seen the advancement of it.
Yeah, 100%.
So any other scenes you got from this side before we move to the other side?
Let me think.
Because the ones that stuck out to me was Nanami, Gojo, Toto and his gang, and then seeing Kusakabe. Those were like I guess the lady with the blue hair.
Mei was also pretty cool.
She did some stuff.
I also liked the intros they had for all of the jujutsu sorcerers.
That was badass.
Like where they had like Mei on the building with all the crows and shit. That was badass. Like that was super cool. Like
and then seeing the jujutsu doctor as well. Like you said, all the different people. It just showed how this is the jujutsu society.
Yeah. That's one thing I will say is that if you're like someone who is going into watching this blind without having watched the series, this whole section might just have you kind of like scratching your head a little bit.
But I will say, if this is the first instance you've had watching it,
it should make you curious though.
Yeah, and then when you start reading, it'll make it better. Because I'm not gonna lie, as someone who's read and then watching this movie, I was like, yes, you gave me this, you gave me this. But on the flip, when you start to read, it'll be like, oh, you'll appreciate that movie more. 100%. So I think it works both ways. Now let's get to the flip. Man, poor Maki getting the ass whooped. It's just like, he had no shot.
Yeah, unfortunately, like just special grade.
Can't do nothing about that. And then Panda and Inumaki, like y'all couldn't do nothing about it either. Y'all tried. Like they had one good move get off, but like other than that, it was just like, this is all about you and then, bro, seeing you. All right, so this will be spoilery. Real quick, we love this scene. This is badass. From this point on, we're spoiler talking because I can't help it. So, like, the real quick, you love the movie?
Yeah. 100%.
I love the movie. Our ratings is super high. So sorry to those who are anime only. We were non-spoiler the whole time. This is just the end. We have to spoil. 3, 2, 1. Black Flash? What the fuck?
That was a really random addition, in my opinion.
I liked it, but it was just
I did like it, but I don't
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Facts.
I mean, he does more complicated stuff already is the thing, like, and then he does the reverse curse technique at the start, or
the healing.
Not the start, but yeah, that was in the manga as well. That was in the manga.
Okay.
But
and then he does the curse speech, which I don't remember seeing in the manga. Oh, he did? Okay, because I was about to say that just happened in the manga, and I was
he pulls out the whole megaphone and stuff.
That was just showing how strong Yuta was. It's like, okay,
true.
If Gojo is like has this special power that makes him super strong, Yuta's strong because he has every other power.
Yeah, he has like he's like the Crollo of Jujutsu Kaisen.
That's a good comparison because I was trying to think of a Naruto one and I couldn't.
Kind of like Kakashi, but you don't see Kakashi ever do more than like 3 jutsu is the issue.
True, but the idea of Kakashi, the fact that he can copy everything, that's like you. Yeah, I like that. Fair enough. But I think
Crollo's the
one
to go with it.
Yeah, that's the one. But man, seeing Yuta use his katana, I was like, bro, this is peak anime fiction right here. Or like how Martin Scorsese says, this is cinema.
That was cinema. Like just the camera work was incredible in that. The soundtrack was going the fuck off. Like,
and then him telling Rika, I love you. And it's like, bro, like let's work together in this. I'll come to you, give you my life. I was like, this is beautiful.
I liked in that scene also whenever Rika has her little jealous moment when she's handling Maki about how like,
and he was like, no, like that was badass.
And I like seeing the Tinder moment where he's like, I don't hate you, like it's okay, I do still love you, just treat my friends
like a butterfly. It's not saying that I love this girl, I'm gonna leave you for her. It's just saying
she saved my life. And that's my friend. 100%. That was super dope, honestly.
That was. And then bro, him pulling out Uzumaki Ghetto, I was like, okay, did that happen in the manga too? It did. I was about to say, but it just feels more impactful now that we know what happens in Shibuya.
100%.
Like, I was like,
that was awesome. Also to think about like the fact that he uses all of his cursed spirits whenever he does this.
Yep.
And the fact that he's able to do a more powerful one later on in the manga is like, bro, you were like grinding.
What?
Like,
we can talk about it now.
You were catching those Pokemon.
Like... Now wait. Let me pitch this to you because but that's not Ghetto though. Later, like that's why I feel like it's stronger because it's that sorcerer.
He's still got to collect the spirits and shit.
Oh, true.
Yeah, like we do still see him doing the eating them and shit.
Yeah, true.
It would be easier for Kenjaku for sure. Yeah,
bro. And like his Kenjaku's Uzumaki looked a lot stronger than the Ghetto one.
Well, because
but like you said, because he collected
heavy manga spoilers here. And if you somehow haven't clicked out of this, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His Uzumaki is stronger because it has Mahito in it in that scene.
You right, bro. Crazy. I can't wait.
I had to give the long spoiler warning for that one.
We're gonna talk the JJK stuff on your podcast, but yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm trying to think of some other moments from this fight. It just really showed how strong, like Yuta just getting into Jujutsu Kaisen Sorcerer is fighting arguably one of the strongest sorcerers outside of Gojo in the verse at the time, and it's like he handled him with
He's like a true prodigy. Yeah.
I don't want to say relative ease, but it was definitely like mid diff or like mid diff / high diff. It wasn't like super high difficult for him to beat him.
Yeah. Another thing that like we kind of went out, like we already talked about like Inumaki and Panda and them, but I liked Panda coming in and basically making it a Tekken match for a bit.
That was badass. And like Panda doing his thing. I always love seeing Panda's forms.
Yeah, I like the expand because we didn't get all of that in the manga, like him transforming and stuff. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, I agree. That a lot. I agree. And then like just the last move of Yuta and cutting off half of Ghetto's body and Ghetto just scraggly walking like on the side of a fucking building. And we don't even have to show the Gojo. Gojo just was like, you know what time it is, dog. It's over for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what he whispered?
What do you whisper? Oh, he said, I love you.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that like... They changed it in.
Why did they hide that? You think for the arc that's coming?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they hit it so people can leave it up to imagination, more or less.
Got you.
Whatever somebody wants it to be, it can be that. I choose, even if you don't think that they're gay, I choose to believe that he said I love you because that's his best friend.
Yeah, it's just for either way. Like it works.
But in the manga, it seems so much gayer. Because they're like, instead of saying, whenever he gives you to the ID card, right? He says, No, I didn't get that. I didn't find it. My best friend did. My only one. In the manga, he says, my best friend.
My lover?
He says, my one and only, which is just like, that's gay, man.
Like, it's a little deeper than that. Look, I mean, I don't care if Gojo's gay, bi, straight, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Great character.
That's just your
head canon.
Yeah, that's my head canon right there. I choose to believe it. If you don't think so, I respect your belief. Not you personally.
Oh no, I know you're talking about the listeners. Yeah.
If the listener doesn't think that, I respect their personal belief, and I just ask that mine be respected too.
Facts, 100%. So I'm trying to think. So we get the destruction of Ghetto, and real quick, how do you feel being that you're a Gojo stan? White bandages or black headband that covers
I'm going to answer sunglasses.
Ooh, like that. Yeah, him in Africa at the post-credit scene, he looked like a baller.
Yeah.
Why does he just not do sunglasses all the time? Is there a purpose for the because it's the bandages or the black band? I know you're like the JJK stan.
In the lore, the reason why like Nanami and him wear that is because curses can tell people who are sorcerers because they're looking at them. So if you wear like dark colored things, they can't tell you're looking at them. But for somebody like Gojo, he's so famous, it doesn't really matter. I think it's just a matter of swag.
Okay, because I was about to say the sunglasses work a lot better if we're being honest. Yeah. So I just something that I was curious about.
What about you? What do you think?
What do I prefer? Which one?
Yeah.
Out of the two?
Out of the two, by the way, I would probably say I think I like the way that the white color looks better, but I think I prefer the black band.
That's what I was about to. Okay, so I like in the manga specifically.
The manga bandages look better, I feel.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I like the manga bandages better, but I would prefer if they were black bandages, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
Because I just like the idea of
seeing him do seeing him do the like I'm busy. Yes,
so that was badass. Exactly. And you know, I'm a big DC guy. I like Hush. Hush wraps his head in bandages. I just have an affinity for characters that wrap their head, eyes in bandages because it's like, oh shit, they're badass. Yeah,
I know, I get you.
Like fucking Shishui from Rurouni Kenshin. Just a badass. Wait, is his name Shishui? I think it's Shishui.
Shisui, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Similar. But Mekamaru is actually based off of that character. Fun fact.
I didn't know. Funny, that's why he uses fire. Okay. Did not know that. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the movie. We get the closing of it, of all like the friends and whatnot loving each other. Don't forget
them releasing Rika.
That was the
revealing that like
thank you. That was the best part of the movie.
And everything. Yep. That was so good.
As good as all the fighting was to me, that was the best part of the movie, which ties into the beginning of their love and whatnot, and him accepting going to death. And Gojo's like, bro, you're not about to die. And then Rika just turns into herself and she's like, I'm free now. Thank you. And then we see the flashback of him remembering everything. And she was like, no, don't hate yourself. I couldn't have asked for anything better. I cherish every day.
Time with you. Yeah, exactly.
That was beautiful. And then she just goes away and it's like, fuck yeah.
Honestly, a really good love story for shonen. Like, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Now, question, in the manga, he doesn't have the demon still, huh?
They explained this in the last chapter, actually. So go catch up.
I'm gonna go read. Okay, bet. Because that was something that was a little confused about.
It was a question it was something we all had questions about. But
okay, so I'm gonna go read that
in the very last chapter.
Bet. Well, perfect. And then I like the closing scene of seeing Miguel still alive and him, Gojo, and Yuta chilling in, I guess, South Africa. And I'm guessing
it was Kenya.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm guessing that's where Gojo goes to tell him about Yuji.
Yeah, that was whenever Gojo came back from when he comes back in the first season, he has like the 3 like little trinkets that looked like African masks. That's where he went. He was going overseas
to talk about Yuji. Fuck yeah. Okay,
I'm glad Miguel is still alive. I mean, they're all still alive, all of his family, but I hope we see more of Miguel. He's super dope, honestly. Yep.
So now that we got through the best scenes, give me your overall best scene.
Overall best scene.
If you had to pick one.
I'm gonna have to go with. Okay, I'm gonna give you 2 because one of them has personal bias attached.
Go ahead.
I think the best overall scene is probably the ending with like Rika getting released. My personal favorite was probably like Gojo and Ghetto like their goodbye scene was really well done.
I'm gonna give two. One's gonna be emotional, one's gonna be a fight. The ending, the ending is just fucking awesome. And you can give a best fight too, since that yeah. The ending is my ultimate, just like amazing emotional scene. Like I said, when you tie it in with the beginning, just seeing when it's like he remembers, like, oh, I cursed her, and it's like, no, it's just like that. And then when she just comes and puts her hand and hugs him, it's like, no, I got to spend all that time with you. To me, beautiful. Now the best fight, man, I want to say Inumaki in Yuta versus that curse thing. That was great. Yeah, I'm not gonna go with the end. The end is obviously beautiful, but to me, the Inumaki Yuta versus that early curse, that was my favorite fight.
I think my favorite fight, and again, here's my
you're going Gojo,
fanboy.
yeah.
Here's my Gojo fanboy coming out. I gotta go with Gojo and Miguel just because I liked it was
badass.
One of my favorite things about JJK is that the villains acknowledge that they cannot beat
him,
Gojo in a straight up fight, and they just have to like stall him, prevent him from going somewhere else.
It's never about defeat; it's just about distraction, essentially.
But yeah, I like that they plan around him in that way.
No, that was badass. Okay, and I'm gonna say Nanami because, like, you know me, that's my goat. I love seeing
5 black flashes. I was literally counting those shits in the theater under my breath, man.
He came out badass. I wanted to see him use the thing, but I guess they didn't want to let him use that in the movie.
Yeah, I like seeing him just punching shit though. That was cool too. I think he did use his curse.
He used it, but they didn't.
They show like the graphic on the screen at one point, but like they kind of
didn't acknowledge it though.
They make the screen flash black and you see like the line go across it.
Oh, okay. No, you're right. You're right. It just wasn't as like, when he's fighting everybody else, it's just like, yeah, that's there. Like
you get to see him like line up and like really, yeah.
So those are our best fights, our best scenes. Who won the movie in your opinion?
I got Yuta. Yuta won the movie. Like,
yeah,
everybody is acknowledging him as fantastic. Like, social media is blowing it up over him.
The only other person I could say won the movie and you're right, Yuta in terms of the movie and outside the movie won. That's my pick as well. But just to give a side, Gojo, because he proved to Jujutsu Society like his way is the right way.
Yeah.
And without this working, we don't get Yuji coming. Like they'd have killed Yuji instantly.
100%. Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
Who lost the movie? And in that same token, the elders lost. In that same way of what I just explained, the elders lose because they realize they're losing control.
Dude, to be honest,
but it's got to be Ghetto, huh?
Can I go with a out of the box?
Go ahead.
You can
choose whatever you want.
I gotta go with Rika's grandmother, who lost her child, her grandchild, and her daughter-in-law all in the span of like a year.
You're right, because the mom and dad died, then she died, and the sister died, then she died. No, you're right. Grandma, big loser. I like that. I like that answer.
Sorry.
Fuck yeah. Okay. And you listen to Run It Back, you're part of the network. You know the way we do this. Who's your sixth man of the movie? And for those that don't know, sixth man is someone who, in basketball terms, is someone who's not the main starter, but comes in off the bench and helps out the team tremendously to win. So, for example, the starters to me of like the main characters of this movie would be Yuta, Gojo, Maki, Ghetto, and Inumaki, because he's more important than Panda.
He was gonna be my sixth man. Damn.
Yeah, no. Unless you give me a better starter, I can't think of a better one than that.
I can't think of a better starter, honestly.
So who's your sixth man? Like someone that came in and really shined for a little bit of time. You could go Panda,
dude. Honestly, I'm gonna go with another left field one. Shout out that random jujitsu dude who is doing the UG level shit, like punching that giant cursed spirit and whatnot.
With the mask.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's Eno.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll just go with Eno then. Yeah, 100% Eno.
Okay.
My sixth man. I love that dude.
Fuck yeah. I'm going Nanami. Like he came in, did his thing, was badass. But Panda could also be the sixth man, but
Panda should have gotten I wish
more
he
screen
would have gotten
time.
like a mission for himself. And they talk about it in the manga. They have a little blurb that's like him talking to Akutami saying, "I thought I was going to get a mission in chapter 3."
But look, if there was a better starter, Inumaki 100% would have been the sixth man.
100%. I agree.
But we got yours, and what's his name again? One more time.
Ino,
and we got mine is Nanami. So okay, so we gave you the winner, the loser, the sixth man. Now the only thing left is for us to give you our score. Jay, what you got 1 through 10?
I gave this a 9.
Solid. I like that. I'm not giving it anything under a 9. I think I'm gonna go 9.3. Like just
we got decimal points.
Yeah, bro. BrosWhoThink, we got you're on the BrosWhoThink system now, brother. You got decimal points.
I'm sorry.
You definitely got.
Just do one. All right. I'm gonna give this a 9 point. I think I'm gonna give it a 9.4. 9.4.
Solid. Yeah, I like that. Yep, I'm 9.3. So let's do the averages, just because I do this with, even though it's 2 people, we can obviously know what it is, but I like to give the people, that's how we do the score. 9.3 plus 9.4 divided by 2. It's a 9.35. So we can round, and it's a 9.4. Stamped. Solid. I love this movie. This is great. And I don't want to kill the other video, but where do you think this ranks among? Because I'm gonna save my thoughts on where this ranks among the other shonen for me and Chris's video. But where do you, just so we can get your thoughts on it, where do you think this ranks among the other anime movies that's come out recently? And when I say that, I'm saying it starts at, let's say, the Frieza movie, Resurrection F, until now, because that's really the new age of movies, and we're talking just shonen movies, because obviously Your Name and Weathering with You, like those shits are way better than this. But in terms of just shonen battle manga movies, where does it stand among those?
I would not be a JJK Homer /Mark /Stan / whatever you want to say. I gotta say it's number 1, honestly. Like it's kind of, I mentioned it in the Discord, but whenever I got up, I audibly said, "Get shit on Demon Slayer." not to be disrespectful, but I'm being a little bit disrespectful.
No, we love that disrespect. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. And I'm going to save my thoughts for the video, but I'm glad we got Jay's. Jay, tell the people where they can follow you at on social media.
You can follow me at Shardbased on both Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to find me, you can find me in the BrosWhoThink Network server. I am going to be releasing a podcast with my co-host, Twitterless Parf, pretty soon. And listen to that. It's called Manga Melee. Should have your boy Lynn on that pretty soon too.
Yeah, I should be the first guest y'all have, and then
I think you'll be on the first episode.
Yeah, for sure, and that'll be out next week. So y'all be on the lookout for that. The logo's super dope. We got a lot planned for this show. Super excited.
Definitely gonna be talking One Piece this week. I'll tell you that fucking much.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. This is gonna be for those that don't know. Anime Talk is the anime podcast. Manga Melee is the manga podcast, and on that podcast they can talk anime. On Anime Talk, we can talk manga, but for the most part, that's the manga podcast, and Anime Talk is the anime podcast. It's finally happening. I'm so excited for this because, to me, as y'all know, I want the BrosWhoThink Network to have the best anime division in all of media. And I think with Chrissa, Christian, Twitterless Parf, and my man Jay, I think we're off to a really fucking good start of like guys who really know and love anime and manga. So super glad to have you, Jay, man. You can follow me at LinBWT, follow BrosWhoThink at BrosWhoThink. Be sure to check out all of our amazing content, whether on YouTube or on the audio platforms where you listen to podcasts. And this is just the start, man. First review with Jay. We got a lot more coming because if y'all don't know, he loves live action movies as well. And we'll get all of his likes and whatnot in the first episode of Manga Melee when he introduces himself. But I'll talk to you soon, Jay, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, brother.
Peace.
Peace.